All right, well, let's wait for this link and then I can send it to the appropriate sources and then
My
we can start
favorite
tribal
gif of
council.
Jigsaw is the one where someone's wearing him as a mask and it's just him throwing his hands up and partying. It's a good time.
Right. All right, hello, friends, and welcome to the third Merge Tribal Council of Distortion Survivor Curse Legacies. We are here with the Deja Vu tribe as usual. Some of y'all have some interesting club cups at Tribal Council today, but nothing screams interesting like a good spin on the wheel. So let me get that wheel up, y'all. All right, can everyone see my wheel?
Yep.
Thank you. All right, I know you guys are so excited to see what the wheel does today. So as always, we're gonna go in alphabetical order. So we're gonna start with Aaron. All right, unfortunately, Aaron is still here. He is still at tribal. He still has a vote. We move on to Cassie. All right, Cassie, unfortunately, you are still hooked. You will still have a vote. You're still at tribal council. We move on to Fred. All right, Fred, you are unfortunately still hooked. You are still at tribal council. You do still have a vote. We move to giraffes. All right, giraffes. It looks like unfortunately you are still hooked. You still have a vote. You are still at tribal council. We move on to Issa. All right, unfortunately, Issa, you are still hooked. You are still at tribal council. You still have a vote. We move on to John. All right, John, unfortunately, you are still hooked. You do still have a vote. You're still at tribal council. Next up is Kathy. All right, Kathy, unfortunately, you are still hooked. You do still have a vote. You are still at tribal council. We move on to Kim. All right. Unfortunately, Kim is still hooked. Kim does still have a vote. Kim is still at tribal council. We move to Laura. All right. Unfortunately, Laura is still hooked, still at tribal, but still has a vote. We move on to Noah. All right. Noah, unfortunately, you are still hooked. You still have a vote, and you are still at tribal council. And last but not least, we have X. All right, unfortunately, X, you are still hooked. You still have a vote, but you are still at Tribal Council. This concludes the wheel portion of Tribal Council. You are still here, and the great news, I don't know if y'all will think it's great news, but because Gracie's not here, I'm doing questions. Are we so excited? Yay! All right, we will start with Fred. So, Fred, first off, congratulations on your immunity this round. You please explain to the viewers at home what the challenge was and how you're feeling winning another immunity challenge.
Yeah. The challenge was well, it was scary subjects, right?
Scary subjects.
Spooky. Yeah, scary subjects. And basically it was all prompts that all of us answered, and whoever the majority of people put was the correct answer, and all of us had 3 lives, and I was just the last person standing. Um, it's awesome to have it. I'll definitely take it no matter what. Doesn't matter the scenario. I will absolutely take immunity. So yeah, that's current. That's I don't know. I don't know how else to talk about it.
No worries. We will move on to Aaron. Now, Aaron, if you look at this merge tribe, you guys started off with 13, you're now at 11. Not a single returnee has gone this during the merge. We've seen 2 newbies, 2 rookies go early on in this merge. Do you think that that's going to be the pattern? Do you think that it's going to fluctuate as the game goes on? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's actually a really good question because in this particular tribe, nobody really knows what's going to end up happening until last minute. We've seen this with the last 2 votes. Both votes since we merged has been a talk between a returnee and a rookie. So, did I think that this is? Did I personally think this is how this was going to go? No. Do I think it's going to continue that way? Again, who knows? Like I said, this is a great group. I love every single one of them in this room. But I have to say, no decision is made until the very second that tribal begins. So anything can happen in this game. Expect the unexpected.
All right, let's move on to John. John, Aaron just said the past 2 merged tribals have been basically. Can y'all hear me?
You cut out
Awesome.
for
John,
a second. but
Aaron
you're
said
good.
the last 2 tribal count. Okay. Aaron said that the last 2 tribal councils have been not decided until the last minute. Basically, what I'm taking out of it is buzzer beaters. Do you think that that's the way that this game has been going? Do you think that last round was unanimous, but Aaron's saying that it's still a buzzer beater. Do you agree with that sentiment?
I mean, you talk about buzzer beaters with its perfect timing with March Madness rolling around for all the sports followers out there. So, I mean, would we expect to maybe see any Cinderella stories coming through here, or is everybody's nightmares just going to keep on coming true? That's all we're really going to be able to find out because we're living day after day of hell. Mainly with what Prod has been throwing at us, but just throw in the everyday life on top of that. And yeah,
All right, let's move on to Cassie. Cassie, you were able to make it pretty far in the immunity challenge, but you weren't able to get the win. Talk to us about touchy subjects, or in this case, scary subjects as a whole. We've seen in other orgs, particularly that I've played, it could, and sometimes it has a huge impact in the game. Sometimes it doesn't. Talk to us about like your view on the results as a whole.
I mean, my view on touchy subjects, as a whole, like in general, um, it's a game where you really don't want to see your name. Like, I feel like most of us would rather like rest in anonymity, and I don't think that happened for very many members of this tribe, honestly, this game, which makes us all paranoid. Like, I think we're all paranoid. I think we're all stressing. Touchy subjects does have a way of bringing out your inner conspiracy theorist. Like, you know, like somebody looked to the right when they were talking to me, so they're out to get me. Like it's literally that level of paranoia that it inspires. And like especially if you see your name come up. Because having it come up for any reason is never like it doesn't matter whether it's something nice or something negative. Like you don't want to see your name there. You don't want people to be thinking about you. Like no. So it's terrifying. It is I think every single one of us when we hear the phrase like touchy subjects or in this case spooky subjects, we all start shitting our pants a little bit to put it bluntly. So yeah.
All right, we will move on to giraffes. Now, giraffes, last night in the competition, you were one of the first people eliminated via the chops. How are you feeling coming into this tribal council, especially with as the people voted in touchy subjects that tonight will be your last night?
Honestly, I'm gonna start by saying I was not shocked. I was one of the first people who knocked out. It kind of has been my story in this game where I am basically so much of a non-factor, I feel, by for a lot of people that literally the last two tribals, I did not know what was going down at all. Like both times, I thought it was going to be a completely and utterly flipping different outcome. I was not informed of it being Colin that first round, and I wasn't informed of it being V in the last round. I heard that their names were thrown out. I had no idea or no information being given to me that it was actually them, or even that they were that much of an actual idea. So me getting that, I'm like, yeah, that's not shocking. I was not surprised. I actually had everything prepared for that. And I was actually shocked I didn't get more of the negative stuff, in all honesty, because of how I've just been feeling in this game so far. And it at this point, it just is what it is. I did not get much information today. So as far as I know, what I've been told, I hope is actually true and is going to happen for once. It would be nice to be able to say I went into a round knowing what was going to happen and it actually did. But you don't know until the votes get read.
Let's move on to Issa. Now, Issa, I know you weren't there last night, but you were the first person eliminated in the competition. Um, as well, we've seen two votes so far in the merge, and you had been the vote, the other name per se, in the other two tribals. How are you feeling coming into a third merge tribal with that thought in your head?
Not amazing, and also not shocked that I was one of the first, like I was the first cut. Not shocked literally at all. I also know going to this tribal, I'm getting votes again, which also sucks. But like I feel like all I can do and all anyone can do really is just like roll with the punches. Like shit happens and you have to learn how to navigate that. Like this is not my first game where I've been unlucky with votes. Also has not been my first game getting a ton of votes and managing to stick around anyway. So I feel like obviously it's no one's ideal situation, but it's also not a total death sentence like some people think it is, especially if you just like take a second, really learn how to move around that and I guess talk to the right people and figure it out. So like obviously I don't feel amazing. Like I'm nervous as shit as I always am, but I feel like anyone in my situation just kind of does all that they can.
Right. We will move on to X. Now, X, last night during Scary Subjects, you had received which current survivor would stab their friend in the back and wipe their blade clean right after. You looked very shocked after receiving that. Do you feel that perception is correct on your end, or?
Hi. I was shocked because I don't feel my gameplay this season has showcased that. I feel like I've been in a weird spot on my OG tribe, so that kind of led to certain events. But I don't think I've been backstabbing anyone that didn't already try and set my own elimination up. I think that came wholly from the perception that my past is messy. I keep getting told that every round by somebody that X, you're messy. You need to calm down. You need to pick a moment and go with it. So I think that's kind of where it came from. But I was definitely shocked in the moment. I thought there was a more fitting person for that than me. But you know, someone had to be picked for it. I'm not taking any roles with it, and I don't think people answered me for that. Maybe showcases what they truly feel. It was we had to pick what we thought the group picked. Um, I ended up being it, so I think that's kind of what it is.
All right, we'll move on to Kathy. Now, we've heard a bunch of different dialogues at this tribal council about previous tribal councils, and we've also heard dialogue about what could be happening at this tribal council. But I want to hear directly from you because I always like asking this. What has the vibes been at camp today? I mean, you just went through a very stressful challenge last night. Coming into tribal council tonight, there's a live event coming up next. What's the vibe? What's the feeling? How do you move forward?
That is a very loaded question. The vibes at camp have definitely been very chaotic. I think that, I mean, everything's been changing by the minute, kind of to reiterate what other people have said, like everything kind of comes down to like the final minute before tribal. Um, I think with, touchy subjects being the most recent challenge too, maybe that just has everybody on edge too. Like, is my perception of the game correct? Can I trust the people that I've been sharing information with? Can I, trust them based on, the game of telephone that we're all kind of, playing and trying to figure it out? So, scary subjects was very much the name of the game. I think moving forward, with the live night on the horizon, that's also been adding, I think, increased pressure, I think, to everybody's perception of the game. So all I can do is just kind of shooting everybody straight and just keep playing the game the way that I've been playing it.
All right. And Noah, I have not been able to ask questions at a previous tribal council, but for the returnees who might have been asked this at their tribal councils in previous seasons, I have my personal favorite question. You're going to get it today, Noah. Noah, in just one word, how do you think people are going to react after the final vote has been read?
Monkey covering eyes emoji. Thanks.
That was more than one word, but that is one emoji, so I will take it. All right. That being said, we'll go on to Grace's favorite questions. Okay, y'all, raise your hand if you think tonight is the night that I'll be snuffing your torch and be sending you off to the Ponderosa. 1 hand, 2 hand, 3 hand, some shrug, some shake of hands, some wiggly fingers. All right. And if you had to compare this round to a horror movie, what movie would it be and why?
The Barbarian, because it's 3 movies in one.
I'm going to say Scary Movie 2 because it feels like we're all just dangling the strong hand out there and we're all just trying to figure out what it's actually able to do and how much it's actually controlling this game.
Y'all have had some very clever answers this season. I love it. Anyone else?
I'm afraid of horror movies, so I will never answer this question. Sorry. I have a pussy when it comes to that.
I feel
Well,
like every round has been Nightmare on Elm Street because this entire fucking game is kind of a nightmare and is driving me insane.
I second that, Issa. I fully fucking second that.
well, speaking of whatever Noah's doing, it is.
I was doing the gritty and then whatever the people do like that. Sorry. Someone did it to me at work today. Like they walked up to me and they were like, I was like, what are you doing?
Well, speaking of that, if anyone has any pre-vote advantages or would like to say anything else, now would be the time to do so. All right. It is time to vote. Go to your prod chat, lock it in, bump it up, change it, submit it, whatever you feel necessary. Half this time, we are live with the VL and the jurors are currently watching. So if you want to make any shout outs, now would be the time to do so. I will be back with the votes.
Hi, V. Hi, Colin. And shout out to Mike V and Lee. I think that's Lee in my prod chat. I don't know. They're both very quiet, so I don't know. Yes, Lee and Mike V in my prod.
Shout out to,
Oh, go for it.
shout out to Mike Jones and Michael Grossman.
Shout out to Julia Rowe.
Shout out as always to Jared. Thank you for sitting through so many paragraphs.
Shout out to the Cajun salmon I am currently cooking.
Right. Come on, Cajun salmon.
I did promise a shout out to Katy Perry last time, so this is
Katy
currently her. She is
I love her.
very upset that I picked her up, but she is here. And also shout out to my two prod chats or two prod guests, whatever it's called.
Shout out as usual to Z and Jordan. You guys are the best, and I love you. Also, shout out to Trooper, my foster kitty that I got to go visit at PetSmart today. Oh, he's so handsome, guys.
He really is.
Shout out to my prod guests, season 3 champ GG and season 12 champ Josh Winness.
Okay, stock prod chat. What?
That's a good luck prod chat. What is that?
Yeah,
What the fuck?
I'm gonna shout out my prod guest. Jom has been a huge help to me today. Really supportive. Really, I see why there's some Jom love out there. And shout out to Austin. I think you died this last round, but it's okay. You're there. You're supporting. You're like a cheerleader in the shadows.
Shout out Roberto. Shout out my sister Jess.
As usual to Z and Jordan. You guys are the best, and I love you. Also, shout out to Trooper.
What?
Who did that? Who was that?
Sorry, I have a friend of mine like just like when my mom's like watching that live stream and she's like across the room and I was like I actually hit the unmute button. That was my fault. Sorry.
Come on, Spy Shack. Just kidding. Oh, sorry. Joking.
One thing for everybody. Nothing important, but post tribal council, just do stay for a little bit. I have an announcement I'd like to make. But no, it's nothing bad, promise.
I just want y'all to know. Benji sent me the salmon in my prod chat, and y'all didn't get that. Yeah.
Shout out to my neighbors who are blasting music that I'm pretty sure can be heard for like 8 blocks around. It's loud, guys.
Is it good music at least?
Yes, it is.
Oh.
Piano Man.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, very good music.
Why'd it get so quiet? I'm packing my bowl. I'm using my flashlight, so that's.
I like got home from the gym like 20 minutes before tribal, and I've been trying to also enrich my cat. So I've been like flinging this like fishing toy.
Shout out to tonight's drink of choice, Sunshine Punch.
And shout out to Seb because Seb's here for the votes.
Oh my God, I haven't gotten a shout out at Tribal in so long. Thank you. Anyways, I have the votes, but first, if anyone has any advantages or hidden mini idols and they'd like to play them, now would be the time to do so. All right, votes are locked. When I read the final vote, that person will have just a couple of seconds to say their goodbyes and leave the Zoom if they're on the Zoom, and will be handled appropriately. First vote. Issa. Second vote. Aaron. Third vote. Kim. Fourth vote. John. Fifth vote. Kim. Sixth vote. Issa. 7th vote. Kim. 8th vote. Issa. 9th vote. Kim. 10th vote. And the next person voted out of Distortion Survivor, Cursed Legacies, and the third member of our jury, Kim. Kim is unfortunately not here, but if she has any final words, we'll send them over to the tribe chat. That being said, whoa, y'all were not kidding about the scatters. Y'all have been one entertaining tribe to watch, but will that last?